wanting some interaction from you all, and but I'm just gonna let her take it away.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna do a full introduction. Well, Travis, have you joined us for any of the other ones?
Yeah, I did join the first one, and then I caught the second one, the recording after, but I was unable to make it last week.
I didn't have you written down, sorry. Okay, so Morgan, Kelly, oh, I don't know where they are on your screen. Tracy, we're all with the KCCTE. So today, everyone can see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So today we're talking specifically about certain types of social media, Facebook, Instagram, digital media, Facebook, Instagram, and email. But just to do a very, very quick recap, we've currently done a mind map to help us find the value that we bring forward to our students. And then we put those into a timeline. Was anyone able to utilize the timeline? Did the link work? Everyone was okay with it? Okay. Travis, I may need to send that to you. Did you get it?
Yeah, I did get that.
Okay, perfect. For whatever reason, my list keeps populating really funny, and so like it'll have someone one week and then it won't have them the next week. So I don't know what I'm doing. But okay, so that's where we're at as a starting point. But I found this online and I thought it summed up social media pretty perfectly. And then later in the session, we'll actually see some examples, but we're kind of talking about donuts today, which is never a bad thing. But when we're talking about Twitter, the typical Twitter post is going to be something like, I'm eating a hashtag donut, because hashtags are Twitter. They originated in Twitter because Twitter is a search engine, and whether we utilize it as a search engine or not, that's what it is. And so the hashtags help us find things on Twitter. Same with Instagram. Little secret, do nothing for Facebook. Don't even waste your time. Don't do it. Facebook, I like donuts. Feeling full, because you can have feelings on Facebook. LinkedIn, my skills include eating donuts. Pinterest, the best donut recipe ever. Instagram, look at this perfect donut, no filter. YouTube, watch me open this box of donuts, because it's a video. And Snapchat, I'm gonna show you a picture of me eating a donut saying, I'm eating a donut. So just a very quick, I saw this and I laughed out loud because I was like, oh, this is so good. Exactly.
Hey, Morgan?
Yeah.
Is it possible for you to send us or send me that slide or access to it? I think that is just priceless.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. So I kind of changed some of them. So I can send you the actual one, or I can just send you this, but yeah.
This one is just, I mean, okay. I just think that's
Isn't
great.
That funny? Yeah.
I think it's great. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Thank you.
So just to jump into Facebook, just some stats for you guys. I wanted to bring some perspective into the social media platforms. Facebook, there are 1.62 billion with a B users daily. 183 million of those are in the US. So we go from 1.62 billion to 183 million. Of those people, 69% are adults. The average amount of time spent on Facebook is 58 minutes, but in my personal opinion, I think it is much, much higher. But again, I guess if we're looking at average, it's probably about right, but truly hours, I think, is more accurate for the typical user. 96% of the users are on their mobile. Do you guys have a personal Facebook page? Personal profile? No, yes. So the question was going to be, do you look at Facebook on your desktop, laptop, or mobile? And 96% of people are using mobile. And I wanted to throw that statistic out there because if you start a Facebook page for your department, for your school, whatever, you'll want to keep in mind the people who are looking at it on their phone, and that's how you want to design photos or art. If you're familiar with Facebook, and if you go to someone's Facebook page on the phone, on your phone, sometimes you'll see that their cover photo is kind of cut off, and that's because they designed it on a desktop and they didn't keep in mind the mobile. So if you've got something important to say, just shrink it. It's still going to be able to be seen on a desktop. 85% of people watch video without sound. One of the things that's becoming really popular on all social media platforms is video. I highly recommend taking advantage of video. It's something that takes time, it takes practice, people are uncomfortable with it, but really Facebook has a lot of good options for you. The Facebook Live, people can tune in as you're talking or as you're interviewing someone. You can use now Zoom to record sessions and post it. And you can, when you upload a video into Facebook, you can actually choose a setting, and sorry, I forgot to say, at the beginning, I am just gonna throw a bunch of stuff at you, but I'm trying to cram it in really short so that we can leave room at the end for questions, like specific questions that you have that you wanna see. Because as I was putting this together, I was like, I think this is helpful, but they may actually just have certain questions. So with this, I can show you different ways if you're interested in how the different ways you can upload a video. So there's Facebook Live, there's uploading a video that you can premiere, which means it'll give people, if they follow your page, it'll give them a notification saying, the KCCTE just posted a video. So there are some really cool things if you have an avid following that can come in handy with that. But the important part of this statistic is that they're watching it without sound, which means you probably should add closed captioning to your videos. That's really what's important here. So what's the purpose of Facebook? Facebook really is all about relationships. Mark Zuckerberg, who developed Facebook and is the owner of Facebook, the bajillionaire. He is all about creating relationships and cultivating relationships and the engagement that you can have with community and building community and lasting in community, sharing lives with people in a digital space. So things to share would be news about your department, news about a department, news about a teacher, a student highlight, news. Photos and photo albums are really popular. And stories. Stories I'm going to show you on my phone because it's easier than switching screens. Stories are the bar, oops, go away, is the bar right up here. Oh my goodness. These are stories. And then this is the news feed. So we're going in two different ways. My door just opened at home. That was what that notification was. Okay, another thing you can share are videos. Obviously, we just talked about that. Videos are great. And on any social media platform, video engagement will skyrocket your results. In this day and age, people are lazy. We know that. They don't want to read long posts anymore. And there's a whole progression, the evolution of Facebook posting and ads and things like that. But now people are saying video, 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 post a video. I'll watch a video. I mean, my husband even, if we're talking about something and I was like, oh, did you read such and such? And he was like, was there a video? No, not a video. Sorry. I'll find the Cliff Notes version, I guess. I don't know. So, and then links to a document, links to another video, to a YouTube. However, Facebook is just an all-around good informational site to have. If we look at the type of audience that is directly using Facebook, and these stats were taken in 2019, these, I'm pointing and you guys can't see that, 13 to 19%, 10 to 15%, that's what these numbers mean. And then the age group. So this is the demographics of Facebook broken out for you. If you were to start a Facebook page today, who do you think your audience that you are trying to reach would be? Do you think you have more than one?
18 to 24 and 25 to 34 would be our primary audience.
Yeah. So really the two biggest audiences in Facebook's demographics. So, okay, then we look at, oh man, only 25% of the billion is there. But really, if you think about it, if we go a step further and look at it, if we look at the entire US population and we take that into consideration of 13% of only females, that's still a potential audience of 23.7 million females in the United States that are 18 to 20 or 25 to 34. That's huge. So we can then go another step further and think of, okay, my school or my department, my city has X amount of people. And if I use those statistics of 13%, or if you want to look, take men, do the 19% of men, figure out what your potential audience is. I mean, do both, and then you've grown your audience. So I'll show you how to take another step into this at the end as well. But I just want you to have a good perspective of what is actually possible with these social media platforms. So then as we move to Instagram, 1 billion Instagram users per month. That was about the only stat that I could find. Again, Instagram, does anyone have an Instagram?
I do.
Yeah, and okay, Terry, you also had a Facebook, right?
Yes.
So do you personally use them both?
Yes.
Okay, so like my personal business, I specialize in Facebook. I personally have an Instagram. My business has an Instagram. I just prefer Facebook. So I only use Facebook. I think my Instagram has like 5 people on it, maybe 5 posts. So again, when we're talking about, make sure that that's a good picture. When we're talking about Instagram and Instagram stories, totally different. So again, they rotate up here at the top. The stories are on the top. The feed is at the bottom. Again, I don't know what you're seeing. I'm just showing you that. So one thing to keep in mind, as we're talking stories and news feeds, Facebook and Instagram, typically research has shown that those are 2 different audiences, which takes it another step of like towards complicated. And as I was talking to the secondary teachers, I was like, you guys really don't need to pay attention to this, but you on the post-secondary side may want to look further into that, or have marketing look further into that to see if they can find those specific demographics for you. And I don't know if it's possible. I don't utilize stories the way that I should. So with that being said, you still get the same results. It's just, I would just post to both. When you post something, just choose the option of stories and newsfeed, and then you're covered. Because really everyone needs the same information. It's just how defined do you want to get. If you were advertising, then I would say 100% you need to know who your avatar is that you're searching for. But truthfully, I think you'll be okay regardless. A little bit different stats, 37% are adults, so that means mostly teens are using Instagram, and the average is 53 minutes compared to the 58 minutes. But again, I still think it's in the hours. Instagram is a highlight reel. So where in Facebook it's completely acceptable to post an entire album of photos of a beach vacation, Instagram, you post the best photo from your beach vacation because it's a highlight reel. It is unacceptable to post 75 beach pictures with a seagull. You know what I mean? So like, it's just a highlight reel because it's just what Instagram has become. Whether it was intended to be that or not, that's just what it's become. So it's a great place for influencers. It's a great place to still have engagement with your audience. It's just a different type of engagement. The cool thing about Instagram is that it now has an IGTV, which is a channel specifically for your company, business, school to have and post up to, I believe, 10-minute commercials or advertising. And not even just advertising, just a video, a 10-minute video, I believe is what your limit is. So it's a great place where on Facebook, it just goes to your news feed. This is a specific spot that people can subscribe to and see every time that you post. So it's trying what Instagram is trying to do. I guess bigger picture, every platform, no matter who owns it, even though Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same people, everyone's trying to compete for time, right? So all of these platforms keep coming up with different features that are also on other platforms. So IGTV is just Instagram's YouTube. That's all it is. So it's now trying to battle with YouTube. And so it was kind of a flop, but people are still using it. And then again, stories. Just, you can do kind of stories and they kind of have a TikTok feel where it's just like snapshots of photos or maybe Snapchat. Better than, anyway. Okay, so again, the stats. If we were to use Instagram, are any of you planning to incorporate Instagram into your school? Okay.
I'd like to,
You good? Okay, so for what, why?
because younger people use it. I mean, I have my son and his friends rarely use Facebook, and my son's girlfriend is a baker, and she's and they live in New York, and so she's like, I don't know, she's kind of getting to be a rising star, and she only does Instagram.
Yes.
So
Because, and that makes total sense because her visual is going to sell her products, right?
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel that in talking to students, and a lot of the younger people, they don't use Facebook that much at all.
Right.
So I think that's a way, and one of the reasons is Instagram is quick, and they're very much into instant gratification, and they don't want to scroll, and so the other reason is I have nieces that are in high school and they use Instagram. So when we're trying to get the incoming students, Instagram is the way to go because they don't use Facebook.
That's a really good point, and one that I had kind of forgotten about. When you're doing recruiting purposes, Instagram would be a great platform for that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think one thing that's difficult is, and some, even as a marketer, I know that is a true statement. Like, I should be on Instagram, but the reality is, do I have the time to come up with a photo that's eye-catching enough to get someone to stop, click, and be able to read my description? And that's where I think a lot of people have issues when trying to decide which platform to use. So I'm hoping by utilizing the timeline spreadsheet that'll kind of help eliminate some of that, oh gosh, I gotta find a picture and I gotta find a post, because as I was doing research for this one, I was looking for educational type of feeds or people who are using Instagram for the educational purposes. And obviously, like Pitt State utilizes Instagram, and their messages are, I think, pretty similar. The cool thing is that if you're just getting started and you feel like you need to hit them all, you can cross-post from Instagram to Facebook. You cannot do it from Facebook to Instagram. So if you do have an Instagram, it is tied to a Facebook, so you can cross-post to that, which is super helpful because it's a one and done. Now, the thing that's gonna get you is if you don't think through your message, and if you're utilizing it, Instagram for recruitment and Facebook for current students, you'll wanna make sure to not mix up that message. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's just one thing to keep in mind. So again, if we look at the numbers, it is higher in the younger, but we are seeing a steady increase in the 35 to 65 range for Instagram. Again, we're looking at 18.7 million people at just 17%. So huge, huge, huge. So now email. I asked the last session this too, but I'm gonna ask you guys, I bet you feel it even more tied to your email all day long. Anyone? Yes. And it's because 293.6 billion emails are sent every single day. I jokingly said that about 1 billion of those are mine personally that I send to, you know, clients, students, friends, whatever. There are 3.9, this is what's crazy though, people, like there are only 3.9 billion users. And so we literally are sending a ton of emails a day, which is crazy. And that now, that's not all just personal, that is businesses as well. So 82%. So these types of stats are for what type of emails are opened the most. And I don't know about your schools, but do you, when you send out emails, do you get to use a certain platform or is it all through your personal work email?
Personal work email.
Personal work. Okay. So like at Pitt State, we use a program which marketing set up and it's called Emma, E-M-M-A. And it will give you stats on who has opened the email, who hasn't opened the email, who has clicked on the email. And there are a ton of platforms out there. So it does not have to be Emma. There is I think SurveyMonkey has email capabilities. MailChimp, like if you just Google email platforms, you will get 1,000 different options. But the thing that I love for marketing purposes with Emma is that I know who's opened my email and who hasn't. And for us, we have found that we have the most return on investment, any ROI, when we do email versus anything else. Like, because stats don't lie. Like, it literally tells you 17 people just unsubscribed to this email. Well, that stinks. Clearly my subject line wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? Like, it just, they thought it wasn't good. So that helps us as we're thinking through things to kind of be creative. So 82% of welcome emails get opened. And this is, you know, updated every. So what we mean by a welcome email. So if I were to sign up for an Old Navy credit card, I can basically assume that I'm going to get an email from Old Navy with some sort of discount offering me to use my credit card the first time and incentivize me, right? So a welcome email usually has an incentive, which is why 82% of them get opened. So when you're thinking about recruiting, or as you're thinking about what is good, and guys, even as you think about from a consumer standpoint, what makes me open an email? Like, what makes you guys open an email? What do you look at first?
Subject line.
The subject line. What next?
I'm thinking I open the welcome email so I can find the unsubscribe so I can get it off of my feed.
If you have unsubscribed to all my emails, I'm gonna look for your name.
Not yours, just in general.
But no, seriously. So
Discounts, coupons.
yeah. So think about that. I mean, I go through it too. I used Old Navy specifically. Like, I even got a notification in my Gmail the other day, finally, that said, you haven't opened an Old Navy email for 1 month. Unsubscribe, ? And I was like, yep. Because clearly I don't need to shop anymore. So, I mean, it was just, so even, you know, the algorithm there is kind of learning. But 50% of personalized subject lines, which I will actually give you guys a link next week to a subject line grader, which I find super helpful when crafting an email. So it has helped our open rates even in the last month improve just because I am personalizing the subject line to who I need to. And like I said earlier, video will always increase your engagement, and it's showing up to 300%. And a lot of that has to do with the algorithms of each platform, which algorithms just mean what you see, when you see it, how you see it. based on what you like, what you share, what you post. That's basically all it means. So tidbit of advice, if you have a Facebook page and you see that people are posting, I can't believe this actually works. Facebook's blah, blah, blah has changed and I don't see anything that I want to anymore. Comment below so that I know that you can see me. Guys, you're just changing the algorithm. Like, you're just having people comment so that Facebook will show that person's stuff to you. Like, you're not cheating the system. So anyway, I just find those humorous. 35 to 49% of people check email on their phone. I have actually gotten to where I take my email off my phone because otherwise I work all day and night. And here's something that's super interesting. 99% of people will check their email at least once a day. At least. And I'm probably in this at more than 10 times a day, easily. I know that there's all these studies out there and there's different methods where you check it in the morning, you check it at lunch, and you check it at night, and then you shut it down, but there's a lot that happens. So things that are really useful to send in emails: newsletters, info, the types, welcoming, salesy pitches, like why should you choose us type emails. And then also just videos and photos are always good to have. Did we lose someone? No. And then one thing that I found interesting as I was finding things is that consumers believe that email is more likely to be around in 10 years than Facebook, Twitter, or cable TV. What do you guys think about that? Accurate, not accurate? No?
I don't know.
Okay.
Cable TV.
So we're gonna have a little fun. I want you guys to guess these platforms that these images were taken from, okay? And then so I just want you to, if it spurs, I just kind of want it to spur a little bit of activity as you're thinking about going forward, okay? So any ideas on this? And it is not going to just be Facebook, Instagram, or email.
Snapchat.
Instagram.
Snapchat, it is Snapchat.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, if I could have got my Zoom stalls really bad if I actually play the PowerPoint, but this cat is like hula hooping in Snapchat. So Snapchat. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this one up for you because it is really cool. And if your son's girlfriend is not on TikTok, I think she should totally do this. Dang it, I just told you what it was. Fail. Hey everyone, guess what this is? So it just shows the whole process of making a donut, which was awesome. And then you get to play cool music. So anyone have a guess as to what that one was? TikTok. Ah, good job.
Karen, you're shaking your head. Which one is it?
Oh,
Facebook.
nope, this one's Pinterest.
Pinterest, yeah.
Yes, yes.
But I mean, you could put it on.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
Sure.
yes. And these are also all mobile.
Because of the pictures.
Yes. So this is a created graphic specifically for Pinterest. And the thing to know about Pinterest is that it's actually another search engine for blogs. So it is a blog search engine. So if women, because Pinterest is known for women users, I mean, if you looked at their demographics, I guarantee it's like 92% women. It is a great place to advertise if you've got information that you need out there. So if you were I mean, you know, like the Pioneer Woman is a baker, she has a TV show, she sells books, so she has a blog naturally, and so her best donuts ever catchline just leads you to her blog. So it's just another way to find things that you need. So Pinterest. What about this one?
Instagram.
Instagram.
This is Instagram. Also, I told the last group that if you ever go to Destin, this is the best donut place ever. Not that I recommend going to Destin right now, unfortunately, but I really would like to be there. Okay, what about this one?
Snapchat?
It's Facebook.
This one's Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
Yep, yep. Okay, last one. It's kind of misleading.
It's an email.
It is an email. Yeah, so it's just a newsletter put into an email. Yeah. And so the last group actually was like, was this created in Canva? And yes, it probably was. So Canva is one of the programs that we will talk about next week that will make your life so easy. Email. But look, did you see? Extra 40% off sale. Just you donut. Want to miss this. Like, it's okay to be funny. I actually think the more you can be yourself on any social media platform, if your school can take on a personality that is not offensive, one, but if it can take on a personality, I think that you can win over so many more people that way just because they feel like they're talking to a human instead of a robot. Like, it's just going to help your cause overall. So again, as we are wrapping things up, remember just to start small. Do not feel like you have to have a Facebook page, you have to have an Instagram page, you have to have email campaigns. You do not have to have it all. Start with one and then get comfortable with it and then move forward. The thing I caution you about that is that if you truly think about your mind map and the value that you're creating for the students, if recruitment needs to be a big part of that, find where those kids are. If they are on Instagram, then it probably makes sense that Instagram is one of the platforms that you start on. But remember that the message, and you can have multiple messages too. So don't think you can only talk to young kids on Instagram. You can talk to the older people, just redo the message, come up with a different message for them. Because if you think about habits of, okay, for me, when I am looking at Facebook, I find something that catches my eye. Not everything catches my eye, but if someone is posting a picture of their newborn, I love babies, so I'm going to like that post. But if someone's posting a picture of a car, I'm just like, cool, and then I keep going. So the platform is a great tool. Just have your message defined so that whoever that is meant for, remember that it was either the first day or the second day, it was, I felt like that was meant just for me. They're gonna feel that if you're bringing value to them, you know? So by crafting your message and utilizing the timeline and the mind map to get organized, just, I had a good reason as to why I had this on here, and now I cannot remember for the life of me. The purpose, why, oh, and then why you're using that platform. So if the reason for having a certain platform is just because we don't have any and we need it, that's not, you're gonna get overwhelmed. You're gonna be burnt out and not enjoy it at all. The why is, like Terry said, that's where we need to recruit. Well, that's a perfect reason. So you know exactly what your message needs to be. It needs to be to high school students and pushing, I can bring value to your future because XYZ, and that is what you talk about. So we're not technically wrapping up, but then your homework would just to continue to use that timeline, continue to hone in on your message, but specifically when you're looking at your timeline, come up with kind of a campaign or work with marketing to help you craft a campaign. Once you get this outlined, take this to marketing and say, here are the things that I really need help with. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And say, CTE month is in February. I need to do a Facebook post with this message. I need to do an Instagram post with this message. And then I need to send an email at the end of the month to the community, blah, 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 blah. So does that all make sense? Okay.
Yes.
So I want to now answer questions that you have specifically about Facebook or Instagram or settings or setting up a Facebook page, whatever. Mel, I know you want to know about insights and how they look at those. Is anybody interested? And also, it's not going to hurt my feelings if you don't have questions and you want to hop off. I do want to say that at first. Don't feel like you have to stay on here if you don't have any questions.
I have a question about email. We don't have the ability at KCK to email all students or email only certain. We had an incident a couple years ago, so now we don't have that. And only certain people can email it, all students or all faculty, or all staff. So what do you think about we have a lot of students at the school who have not decided on a program yet. Would it be helpful to do an email blast to students if we could somehow finagle that, saying, talking about our program and saying we're going to have either a Facebook Live event or, anything just to get them interested?
Yeah, I think so. And then I think you could take it a step further and send whoever is responsible for sending out those emails, send them the subject line that you want them to use. Because typically when that happens, I know when I was at school, I would just delete emails that came from the general person who emailed us 12 times a day because I didn't want to read them. So if you can get that catchy subject, I keep wanting to say tagline, subject line, I think that might stop them for a second and get their attention.
Okay.
Emojis also are shown to open more in a subject line. I don't know if the university has rules like with that or against that, but if you put an emoji in a subject line, sometimes they open up quicker.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to show you some things that I look at. And actually, you know what? I may, instead of the KCCTE, I'm going to show you one of my clients' Facebook pages just because we have a big page and we have a big following and I do several things on their page. So I think it'll just give you a better understanding of what I'm trying to say. So cool things about Facebook. You can put a video as your cover photo. So if you have a commercial or you have some sort of video or an introduction video to your department, be creative, come up with something, and you can put a video here in the cover photo. You can also just do still images, and you can also do a slideshow. And it is this create a slideshow where you just upload photos in a certain order and it'll rotate through them. Okay.
Morgan,
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah.
Are you the person responsible for like the Pitt State MBA ads on Instagram?
I'm not. What is your question about that?
Well, because I keep running across those in Instagram, the post advertisement. So yeah, just curious.
Me too. And I've actually emailed and told them like, you're not targeting these correctly because I've already graduated from Pitt State with my MBA. So please retarget, but they're not. So I don't know who runs them.
Yeah.
So this page, this is where, okay, another question. Mel, I think you said marketing handles your Facebook page, correct?
Correct.
And are you going to get access to that, or does that have to stay with marketing? Do you want it to stay with marketing?
Well, we're in a similar position, I would say, to Terry. A few years ago, somebody screwed everything up for us, so we all lost our access and they locked things down. So
So then
I could,
how is that going to work if you set up a timeline? Are they willing to work with you on that? Yeah.
they are. Kelly Snedden has been great to work with, and she'll get me all the stats I want.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
So this is what she's probably actually looking at. And so when we talk about engagement, I use that word a couple times. We're really just talking about likes, shares, and comments. So how are we engaging with our audience? And sometimes that's what it takes with students, especially in recruiting efforts, Terry. If you're going to be on Instagram, those kids want answers, and they unfortunately want it right now. So there's back and forth talks on bots on if they're worthwhile or not. A lot of times I set up bots to do auto responses, and you can do that in Instagram, especially in ads. But mostly just because I can't keep up with all of my clients. Like at some points I have 12 clients at a time, and I cannot physically keep up with full-time job here and then maintaining ad comments and ad messages. So I do set up automated responses, and within that you can choose like, what's the word I'm looking for? Common questions like, where are you located? How much does it cost? Do you have this program? And so, just giving them the basics, and then if they make a different comment, then I get a notification.
Gotcha.
Can comment back. So one of the most popular chats is called Mini Chat, like MANY chat, and it can be downloaded as a bot.
Okay.
Let me check. I'm pretty sure that's right. Social business.
So Morgan, with the data that you have, do you set your goals with this data? Obviously you analyze it, but do you also set your goals?
Like for the business?
Mhm.
Yeah, so we're working on goals for this year. Marketing is so hard because we've talked about this before. It's hard to determine an ROI. So I'm trying to think who we were talking. Maybe it was this group where we talked about if we are going to place an ad and we set the limit of an ad to I could go 100 different ways with this conversation. If we were to place an ad and we were going to spend $100 on the ad and reach our specific demographic that we're targeting, if 3 kids end up enrolling, that ad has fully paid for itself, and that is something that you can track. Organic, which means just posting on Facebook, you're spending time and you're spending resources, but there's really no trackable evidence to show, oh, that post is what got that kid to enroll, So that's where this organic versus paid comes in, and it depends on what you want your goals to be, what you want those performance indicators to be for that specific campaign. So I go to, in here, I know specifically this conversation has led to a purchase. This person commented on an ad that I posted for this client. I know that $2 a day that I'm spending just made the company $1,000 on a new motorcycle part. So to that $2 for that day, which technically then costs like 2 cents for this person to comment on my ad, 2 cents made them $1,000. So I can track that really easily. For education, it is harder. It is difficult, especially, take it a step further. I don't know who ends up seeing the dollars of enrollment for different programs. So, your department could spend $100 on an ad and not see any enrollment dollars, but for the greater good of the school, 3 kids enrolled, right? which is then if they enroll in your program, it makes your numbers look better, which then makes the school look better. There is that continuation of
Yeah.
results there. I've maybe talked in circles, but
One thing that we have implemented at KCCTE that speaks a little bit to this, Mel, is every time someone signs up for a workshop or for mentoring or something that they're physically registering with us with, we have one question on there that asks, how did you hear about this program? So at least we have a little bit of data that where they answer the question, Facebook, a colleague or a friend, or, whatever our different campaigns have been for that particular program. That's helped us a little bit. That's how we've come up with email for our demographic is the best. I don't think that's true for all of you, but for us, our target is teachers, who live busy lives and are working all day and don't have access to social media during the day. Email gives us the greater return. But we have just tracked that through a simple question on every time somebody does register in some way with us in one of our programs. So even though we don't have an ROI on that, it helps us a little bit guide our marketing efforts.
Yeah, the return on investment changes to the return of X, the return of that. So yeah. One thing I like showing people how this actually works, whether or not you decide to use it or not. I would probably have marketing handle it, unless you are super techie and you just want to go at it. Then this is what I do as a business, and this is what I do for the KCCTE when we specifically want to target people, and it takes these numbers and it gives you a better perspective. So, Mel, give me. Oh wait, I have it here. So this is a dumb question. Butler Community College is in Butler.
In El Dorado, Kansas.
Okay. El Dorado. Oh, wrong place. So what I'm doing is I am finding people to specifically target. This is the back end of Facebook. This is placing an ad. So this is not something you would do to create a post. This is what marketing would do to place an ad. So this is what those MBA ads, this is what this is doing. So the cool thing is, if you know that you have a ton of students that come from Joplin, you can do an ad specifically to Joplin, Missouri. I can place an ad specifically to the United States or to, so for that motorcycle company, they're getting ready to go to Sturgis, the big bike rally. I can place an ad to just Sturgis and the surrounding states, or a 50-mile radius or a 10-mile radius. So you can do this same thing. If your kids are local that come to your school, target your town. So we go here to this location. We want people who live in this location. So you even have options here. Oh, they've traveled through. Oh, they just stopped by. So people living in this location, we're going to choose El Dorado, Kansas. And a 25, okay, here's what you guys want to look at. This number right here. See that? Okay, so we're doing a 25-mile radius. We can expand it. We can make it littler. Ages, tell me an age group. If we were going to do an age group, what age would you target?
16 to 34.
Okay. All genders, or do you want a specific? Okay. You cannot get in trouble for this. Like on the gender thing, you're not going to be discriminating if only females see this ad. It's not like that here, because this is the whole point. Facebook wants your dollars and they're going to get it any way they can. So then you start thinking, who is my typical student that comes in? What are some things that they're interested in? So give me an example.
Welding.
So if we type in welding, here's the cool thing. So interests, welding. Now look what happens here. So see, these numbers are going down because we're becoming more detailed, okay? Not a bad thing. That just means that your ad dollars are going to be spent more wisely, okay?
So if you updated that or changed it to engineering,
people who have listed their major. Okay, so I always read the descriptions when, I don't know if it's big enough on you guys' screens, but I read the descriptions before I click on them. So this is saying there's all these different types of engineering that we can click on. One of them being interested in engineering, or you can choose, obviously not this one, but you can choose that they have listed on their profile that they are studying this, okay? So just for sake of time, really, I'm gonna choose this. These are interests in 16 to 34-year-olds. This has upped it because we've added an option. So what this is saying is they could be interested in welding or engineering. But if we want to narrow it even further, now it's an and. They like welding or they like engineering, and they have to be a baseball fan. And I know that that's not accurate. I'm just saying. Okay, so look what that's done. It's actually gone up a little bit. So who knew that that was a crossover? This is where it's important to know who you're targeting. This is why this is important, okay?
Morgan, could you put like unemployed in there anywhere?
Absolutely.
Where would you put that?
We could do, so it could be an and, or it could be, okay, so here's how you have to think about it. Where do you want it to start? Do we want them to be unemployed and have an interest in welding or engineering? Or do you want it to be, they have an interest in engineering, it'd be great if they were unemployed?
I'm thinking about capturing, our business programs are completely online.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about capturing people throughout the United States who have become unemployed due to being laid off for COVID, reasons. They don't have to have an interest in anything other than business, I guess.
And
or
really,
getting a job.
They don't even have to be interested in business because they might not have even considered it.
Right. They don't. Yeah. They just want to get retrained to get it and find employment.
Okay. So there's three options when it comes to unemployed. They can be listed literally as their employer is unemployed, which some people do. Their job title could be unemployed and their school could be unemployed. So really you could choose all of them.
Oh, I see. Looking for work.
Now your suggestions. Now, I would suggest unemployed being a totally separate ad for you than recruiting for students.
Right.
Because your message is going to be different, right? Like totally different person. I would make it 18 to 50.
Right.
65. Make it big. This is a broad, general, unemployed question mark. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Totally separate. Then we offer 100% placement upon graduation. So basically, so in El Dorado though, not a good option. So we would want to expand that out a little bit, but you can choose languages. So if you have a high Spanish speaking community, you can do a Spanish, you can choose languages, French, all the languages, okay? You really don't need to mess with this. Marketing can handle that. If you decide to do this on your own, just don't mess with it. Just let it place it wherever because it's going to get a higher reach. But basically, this is where you go for this. So then really then you're setting your budget, how much you want to spend per day. You do not have to spend $10 a day. Please do not spend $10 a day. I would start at $2 a day. That's what I recommend all my clients to do, and they see great results because I caution you, once you go up to $10 a day, Facebook will say, oh, you're that spender. So then when you go back down to $2, your rates are never the same. So I start at $2, and if like we need more, then I go 250. And then if I'm still seeing good results, sometimes I get testy and go to 5. But really after that, it just goes downhill. You're gonna get the same results. It's just gonna be slower. So depending on how fast you need the results. Okay, what now? What questions?
Morgan, I did want to tell you it's 12
We're at
o'clock.
Yeah.
And then also, though, I was going to say, really how this is the most helpful, or how it was the most helpful for us, was that before Morgan started working for us, we used our marketing department for our Facebook. And Morgan was working for us part-time at that point, sat down with our marketing people. And just because she had the understanding of where to look for, if you guys go to your marketing department with these ideas in your head, they'll be able to help you with plugging that stuff in. And before we had Morgan full-time, then that's kind of what we did. So just throwing that out there to kind of wrap up.
And if you have a question, seriously, I don't mind taking a one-on-one phone call and doing that again with you, just so you can take a snapshot of it and send it to marketing so they can reiterate it or have a better idea. I do not mind at all. I love it. I love this part of Facebook. It's why Facebook is so successful in any aspect. And then you can cross advertise into Instagram as well.
Great.
So, yeah, does that help a little bit? I know we didn't touch on a ton of insights, but I felt like the ad part would be important for post-secondary, just because recruitment is so huge right now. And if you've got an online option to give, then take advantage. We are unique in the fact that we're looking for teachers. So teachers are not teachers on Facebook, just so you know. Teachers are they are very hard to find. But anyway, okay, any other questions? Okay, seriously guys, email me, mprather@pittstate.edu, and we can set up a time to talk. Okay? All right, talk to you guys later.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Morgan.
Thank you.
Have a good week, everyone.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
All right.